Hi everybody, this video is an exposure of a guy who calls himself Timothy Charles Holmseth. He is a pedophile, a convicted felon, and a creepy stalker. And I'm going to go through the facts here for people that may be following him or unwittingly sharing his false content off of BitChute. Of course, this Holmseth clown's been chased off of all the other legitimate platforms. BitChute won't delete anything no matter what's on it, so that he hangs out there. It's his last refuge. Any presence he has on other platforms are fake accounts with someone else's name. So the guy can't exist anywhere but BitChute. So let's expose him here, because he posts fake videos every day, and they're false stories, a lot of them very damaging false accusations against a lot of innocent people. And I think the damage may be that he takes real topics like child trafficking and uses that as clickbait, for which he monetizes. He sells his videos by the click. He gets monetized by BitChute. He makes money that way, and he's just a sick soul, and he gets off on doing harm. So shame on anybody that follows him or the High Command. There is no, folks, there is no High Command. If you look at the High Command BitChute channel, that's like a childish fantasy that Timothy Charles Holmseth literally fabricated in his mind when we were children and we played G.I. Joe. High Command! That was a cartoon. There's never been any real High Command entity. There's nothing there. It's literally a fantasy, just a name that he puts on his channel, guys. He puts a photograph of U.S. troops deploying. And it's a beautiful silhouette photograph of U.S. troops lining up to get on an aircraft. Well, Timothy Holmseth had nothing to do with that photo, but he uses that to try to depict that he's some official entity. He's just a liar. Dude's a complete psychopath. He's not mentally well. He needs help, but he's a convicted felon, and he's on the run from law enforcement right now. He is a fugitive. I think there is a website called Timothy Holmseth is a felon and fugitive. You Google that one and look it up, or run it on DuckDuckGo, which is what I use. There is no Pentagon pedophile task force. This Holmseth clown uses that as his moniker, as his, I'm part of this Pentagon pedophile task force. No, he's not. There is no Pentagon pedophile task force. The Pentagon is a Department of Defense facility that houses a lot of our Department of Defense entities. It's not a law enforcement facility, and nor is it a law enforcement agency. Child trafficking is part of human trafficking, and that's handled by local and federal law enforcement. Anybody that thinks the Pentagon is going after child trafficking in the United States is misinformed, and I would say even misguided, because we understand, most of us educated adults understand the difference between military operations and law enforcement operations. But apparently a lot of the people that follow Holmseth, they're not educated, they're not connected, and they have no way of balancing facts against fiction. They can't weigh out the truth from his ridiculous fantasy stories. So it's sad to see anybody share his videos or his fake articles, guys. But Holmseth was never part of JSOC, Joint Special Operations Command. I was a member of SEAL Team 6, and under that I was a part of Joint Special Operations Command. Timothy Holmseth had no reason or connection whatsoever to claim part of JSOC. That's stolen valor. That's a crime. That's another crime that he's guilty of. And his followers don't seem to ask any questions or have any ability or will to research. Otherwise, they would all know, and nobody would follow this idiot. But by following him and clicking on his videos and sharing them, you allow this, I think he's demon-possessed, clickbait predator. He survives by preying upon you, his viewers, and when you click on his videos, he gets money. So some people are so uneducated on it that they've come to me and said, well, I'm not paying him. That's not true. I'm like, I'm not saying you're paying him. BitChute pays him by the click. That's how it works, guys. He's monetizing your clicks. Your following and your content on his filthy fake videos are making him money. That's how you're helping him harm children, because he's attacking entities and organizations and people that actually make real world arrests on child predators. So let's climb into it a little bit more. He's never been an award-winning journalist. He worked for a local newspaper. He wrote an ad for a newspaper, and somebody wrote up some sort of certificate for that. Guys, that's an entire universe away from being an accredited, educated. He's not educated. He's never been to college. He's not an award-winning journalist, guys. For him to put that on there on his website is a lie. Just like it's a lie that he's part of JSOC, or that there is any such thing as the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force or High Command. I shouldn't even have to be talking about this. Guys, rational, sane adults that click on Holmseth's videos call me right back and go, my God, dude, I couldn't look at this guy for 15 seconds without realizing he's a complete slobbering lunatic. This guy needs serious psychological intervention. So it's disturbing to me that there are that many people that'll follow him. I understand his following's dwindling because people are starting, his mind's getting so sick now, he's so far out there. The things that he imagines and writes about are so vulgar that most people that we're following aren't anymore. So that's at least one good thing. He was fired as a janitor for being filthy and stinky. Now, how filthy and stinky and greasy and disgusting do you have to be before someone would fire you as a nighttime janitor that's mopping the floor? Folks, try to comprehend the level of depravity and sickness of a mind that would lay around in that kind of grease and filth and stench and refuse to bathe himself to the point to where they couldn't even stand for him to be the janitor anymore. And you're following him? Some of you people have come to me over the years, what about this, Craig? I'm like, well, look, you tell me, what about that? Look at the source. Look at the source, man. Look at the source you're repeating. They're like, oh, I did a little digging. I'm sorry, Craig, I should have never brought it up. I'm like, you're right. You should have never brought it up. So the good thing to come out of this video, guys, is people need to learn to start vetting their sources. I've posted it on my own channels, but Holmseth people don't want to look at the stuff on my channel. They just want to feed on his channel because they get off on the drama and the filth. Sick minds. People that eat their own boogers that follow him. Otherwise, they wouldn't believe stuff that's so ridiculously easy to debunk with factual reality. You know? When he posts things about, Obama has already been executed in Gitmo and Hillary has already been executed in Gitmo, well, I wish they would be brought to account. And I think their crimes of treason and sedition, if the law were properly enforced, they would be executed. I believe that due to the factual reality of the crimes they've committed against we, the American people, that they do deserve to be executed after a fair trial. And I believe that would be the outcome if they were given a fair trial. I don't have any confidence in our DOJ right now to bring that about. So Holmseth is jobless, he's unemployed, and he's homeless. He lives with Aunt Randy Erickson in Minnesota. And now he's carless. Sold his car and hasn't bought another one to replace it. So the dude apparently doesn't even drive anymore. So he's just miserable, like he's living like a hermit, like a rat in a safe house, afraid of his own shadow, mentally sick, greasy, filthy, groping himself in his videos. Why don't you people that are following him care about him groping himself in his own videos? Very vulgar, filthy dude. Writes himself fake accusations, fake threats. He's tried to say that I've threatened him before. I've never threatened him before. The only thing I've threatened him with is to sue him, and I am suing him. He's got a major lawsuit against him. And at least 2 warrants out for his arrest. So he's already been convicted of felony stalking. Guys, for you to stalk someone, you've got to be, number one, a loser, and number 2, to get convicted of it. And at the felony level, you have to be a very sick mind who has no self-preservation or no comprehension of right and wrong, and public decency. There's a way to go after crooks, man. And stalking people that you either are infatuated with or have a crush on or jealous of, that's not normal, acceptable adult behavior. So he's been stalking me for 4 years. I founded a nonprofit org and began arresting and getting a 100% conviction rate on child predators. And people started showing me videos of this lunatic saying, what's this guy got against you, Craig? I'm like, I have no idea. I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. And I watched about 10 or 15 seconds of his video, and he's ranting. His glasses look like like a child. You know, when a child take your glasses and they gum them up with their little jelly hands, and they're all smudged up. His glasses look like that, and he was all white and pasty and paste around his mouth. He was so bitter and miserable, and I heard what he's ranting about. I'm like, this guy's a complete lunatic. I couldn't even watch it. I turned it off. This is the reaction with most healthy-minded, sane, educated adults. So he wrote about his own pedophilia, his own pedophile thoughts, his desires to have sex with children in his book. And no, I didn't read his book. That's people passing to me what's in his book. Maybe some of you of his followers have read his book. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. Just like Field McConnell talked about his pedophile tendencies in a video that's been sent to me. He said it out loud. Yeah, most of you guys, probably have thoughts about this, and so do I. I was like, wow, you're a pedophile. What's wrong with you? Get help. Convicted of felony stalking. I mean, what else do you have to know about the guy? He's a convicted felon, folks. If that doesn't give you an indicator on a man's credibility of his ethical standards and his moral standards of how he lives his life, I don't know what to tell you, man. He's been repeatedly exposed as a fraud. I mean, he's said all kinds of crazy things. Let's take me, for instance. He's accused me of working for Hillary. Well, I don't work for Hillary, and I've never worked for Hillary. I've been calling for Hillary's prosecution for over a decade, very loudly on all social media platforms, and anybody can go to my feeds and scroll down and instantly see that. So why does he say I work for Hillary? Well, just because he has a crush on me and he's a homosexual, I think, and maybe he's jealous that I'm actually doing something and with my life. And he's a pedophile, and I'm arresting and getting convictions on pedophiles. He probably doesn't like that because maybe he thinks I'm going to arrest and convict him, which I would if I catch him preying on children like he's trying to prey on so many other people. So here's another thing. Thank you to those of you that have been investigating this idiot while we're running serious operations against child predators and run federal and local law enforcement joint operations and making a powerful documentary that reached 90 million households on July 25th. And we've got a new series on it. So we're just alerting the American populace and empowering them with the factual knowledge of what we need to know so that we can all lock arms and defend the children. This guy's out there trying to smear me and stop me from it. Is that healthy? Is that normal? No, that's a sick mind, guys. So thanks to you that have been investigating him and sending us information about him. I'm like, wow, this guy, just when I think he's the biggest loser I've ever seen, it gets even worse. And so he's just got this sick fixation. He's infatuated with me, and he can't stop posting articles and videos every single day about Craig Sawyer. Everybody that has me on their show or poses with a picture with me or anything like that, he tries to go after him like he thinks he's going to intimidate them. They laugh at him. Most of them tell him off. But he won't approach him in true name. He sends Randy Erickson to pose as a Canadian reporter, and they just laugh at him. Like, Craig, can you believe what this clown couple's tried on me? So go to timholmseth.com and read there. Some people have put together some good information there. And another, his accomplice, his sugar mama that has given him safe refuge as a fugitive from law enforcement, Randy Erickson. Go to randyerickson.com and look at that, folks. So what I want everybody to gain out of this is Timothy Holmseth is a fraud. He lies about literally everything he posts. Nobody's bringing him to account. We're working with the federal law enforcement, multiple federal law enforcement agencies to bring him to account, local law enforcement, and we're bringing a major lawsuit. So it's just a matter of time. But with COVID, some of the systems are pretty sluggish and frustrating, but it's coming. So the hammer's going to fall on this idiot. It's already fallen on one of his idiot friends that was doing the same thing. Ask yourself where his idiot friends are right now who were so loud a year ago. Crickets, they're gone. They're still living their life of fraud, but they have my name out of their mouth because they were brought to legal account, and they had no excuse or defense for their lies because they knew they were clickbait, libeling me, just smear campaign, clickbait. Oh, Craig Sawyer is a horrible person, blah, 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 blah. Didn't matter if it was true. It just mattered if you clicked on their videos and they got the money. These people are absolute reprobate, scum of the earth. And some of them hide behind patriotism and Christianity. Sadly enough, what's even worse is they hide behind the name of Jesus Christ. I can't believe they would do that, but they have to stand before God Almighty on their judgment day. I'd hate to be them or be around them. So what's good to come out of this is vet your sources. We as a culture need to vet our sources. I've been a federal criminal investigator. I've worked in the intelligence community. I've worked in the counterterrorist community. And in all of those, we made sure that we understood who the source was and what their rating was for accuracy over time. How dependable is their information? And we look with someone like Holmseth who says, I was never in the military, and then I post my DD-214, and he goes, oh. Never admits it. He just goes, shifts to another accusation. You were dishonorably discharged. No, I wasn't. Boom. Honorably discharged. In fact, I'm decorated for heroic service in combat. Look. Oh, then he works for Kilrian. No, I don't. Here's the truth about that, idiot. Oh, well, he makes bad sandwiches. I don't know what he's going to come up with next, but I keep slamming him. Where's your one? I remember one video. He's like, "Where's your Viper team, Craig? Where's your Viper team?" Like a child. He was just ranting on and on and on. And I suspect he's probably seen Contraland. He's seen members of my team. So he gets clobbered and humiliated by factual reality again and again and again and again. And he's so morbidly sick in his mind, he just shifts over and makes up something else. He's like the leftist, lunatic, Marxist mainstream news media against Trump. They just hate him, and they're going to smear him and say that Russian collusion, no matter what he does, right? So that's Holmseth and Randy Erickson, folks. So stay away from these people. Law's coming after them, and you don't want to be near them when this hits. So they will be brought to legal account. Let everybody know. So take this video and post it in the feeds of everybody that you see liking and perpetuating Holmseth's fake stories, because he's doing a lot of damage. I don't know how to calculate, guys, how many children are in harm's way right now because Holmseth has attacked good people that are doing honest work, real-world convictions on real predators. Holmseth just playing make-believe online like a LARPER. He doesn't do anything in the real world. He just posts from his filthy pajamas in Randy Erickson's living room. So let everybody know that there is no high command. That's fact. There is no Pentagon pedophile task force. That's fact. Timothy Holmseth was never in JSOC. That's a fact. And he is a convicted felony stalker. That's a fact. So, folks, help us clean up the internet. Help us get people directed towards factual information sources so that it can be productive. Let's make our country a better place, and let's get rid of the filth and these sickos that just get off on the drama and the perversion and the vulgar comments and, like when Holmseth would write himself fake accusations from me, he would write it in his own vulgar, crude language, where if you read anything that he puts out there, people point out, hey, Craig, he's right. He's using his same language in his self-written threats against himself with a fake email address that never existed, accusing you, Craig, of doing it. I'm like, yeah, well, the only thing I've ever told him is I'm coming after him legally, and that's the truth. So the accusations are fake. His whole life is fake. He's in a bad place. I don't wish him any harm, but I do think he needs to be brought to justice and stopped, because he's causing a lot of harm. A lot of children are not getting help right now because he's attacking the good guys, and he's doing his worst to smear and destroy and character assassinate good and honest people who are effective out there. So those of you who are backing us, man, God bless. We appreciate your prayers and support, and there's a lot of good things coming, and we're grateful, and we're proud of our effectiveness, and we're building this war machine against child predators and pedophilia and child trafficking, and it's growing more and more powerful every day. So we're grateful. God is great, and we're on down the road, man. So share this video everywhere you see Holmseth's filth, and let's get this cleaned up, okay? See you out there, guys. God bless.